Hello everyone, I'm Chris Hernandez and this is the Weekly Report, a look at news from the city of Kansas City, Missouri. Have you heard the term complete streets? Residents have said they want bike lanes and pedestrian access included in street projects. So the council is giving residents exactly that. The Inglewood Road and Pleasant Valley Road projects are perfect examples. The Inglewood Road project starts with installing a new water line and then realigning Summit Street. New bike lanes, storm drain improvements, lighting, and a roundabout at Waukomis and Inglewood are also included. And that's what makes it a complete street. The improved road should reopen in late summer of 2020. Pleasant Valley Road will also be upgraded to complete street status. The city of Gladstone is working with us on this project. It will be a 3-lane road with a paved trail on the south side and a sidewalk on the north side. This project also includes storm sewer, water main, retaining walls, and LED streetlight improvements. You will be enjoying these improvements by the end of this year. So when you drive down any Kansas City street, remember the dedication and hard work of your neighbors who work hard every day to ensure the safety of your family. The City Council recognized these city employees for National Public Works Week.
Mayor, Council, thank you for the honor of being able to represent the Public Works Department. We're about 280 people strong in our department, and these are 280 people that are out there every day. You get to see us a lot on a small segment of them that work on these fun projects, but that's just a small fraction of what we have in Public Works. And if it's not the people on the front lines you see, it's our back office staff that processes over 200 and some thousand invoices and pay requests in a year so that our bills can get paid. So again, I appreciate every one of those up front and our fat folks that are still out in the field, and I just feel honored to be able to represent the hard work that they do day in and day out, and thank you so much for giving us that privilege.
Thank you. Every year, Public Works crews maintain thousands of miles of roads and patch potholes as well as keep other infrastructure in good shape. Let's meet a few of these hard-working employees.
My name is Bob Oxler. I'm a marketing supervisor for City of Kansas City, Missouri Public Works Department, Street Traffic Division. I'm going on my 24th year with the city. Public Works going on a year. I just enjoy working in the city, out and about every day, doing different things in the city to help make it a better place to live. Basically what we're out here doing right now is setting up some temporary delineators for the streetcar so they can divert traffic in ways where it won't cause too many issues as far as traffic flow. The specs section of Public Works come out here and core some holes in the street along the double yellow line where the streetcar runs. We put these down in there. We use an epoxy, as you can see. We put the cup down into the street. The paper cardboard allows the cup to sit and cure, so we have an even base when we go up and down the double yellow, where the delineators, they're all pretty much in a straight line. Public Works plays a vital part in making sure everyone in the city has what they need. We install the wheelchair ramps, we install railings, we put down paint on the streets, we put signs on the street letting people know which way they can go, where not to go, get through the city without very many distractions. Kind of the life and times of Public Works.
I guess you could say about 25 years ago, when I was 25, still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Happened to come here for a seasonal job. Did that for a couple seasons, and my boss at the time was like, hey, a guy's retiring, you want to interview for his job? I said, sure. Rest, as you can say, is history. Been here ever since. I oversee the testing of the resurfacing program. I was always interested in construction. Hanging around my father, growing up, he was a self-taught home remodeler, so I kind of took a fancy to that. The whole process, starting from the soil and the concrete, being part of that, it's rewarding because you've been here 25 years and you drive by a road, you be like, I remember when we put that in. The general public doesn't see that, and they're appreciative because, they're getting there. They see their tax dollars being spent. The guy came out one day and said, hey, I know nobody ever tells you this, but thank you. Made my day. I was like, thank you. So.
Did you know that Kansas City has 13 sister cities, including Xi'an, China? Today we are on the Country Club Plaza on Brush Creek near the Sister City International Bridge to talk about an upcoming event that is supported by the Neighborhood Tourist Development Fund that happens on June 9th. And it is a Dragon Boat Festival presented by the Society for the Friendship with China. Today we are with board member Feng Shen to tell us all about the event. Thank you, Feng, for being here today.
Sure, my pleasure.
How did the festival originate?
Well, in China, in the ancient Chinese history, the festival started by memorizing a very famous patriotic Chinese politician and poet, and his name is Qu Yuan. He was very well known, well respected by the people, but he was wronged and banished by his emperor. Then basically he lived during what's called the warning period of China, around the 400 to 200 BC, and eventually upon learning his country is falling and taken over by the Qing warriors, he, out of despair, he committed suicide by jumping into the Miluo River. Because the people loved him so much, they rushed to the boats and tried to save him. Then they throw rice dumplings into the river to try to prevent the fish from eating him. They also beat the drums, try to scare away the evil spirits. That's how it started. So year after year, people started memorizing him by having the Dragon Boat Festival. And those three things, which are the boat, the rice dumplings, and the drums, are the three symbols of the festival. So that got throughout the year, and today the Dragon Boat Festival is really something celebrated throughout China and other Asian countries as well. It also become an international sports. In Kansas City, it really is the brainchild of our organization's founder and past president, Bob Chen. He just thought it's such a great tradition. If we could bring it to Kansas City, becomes part of the unique culture of Kansas City, that would be great. That's how we started 14 years ago, and this year we celebrate the 14th event.
And in addition to the Dragon Boat race, what other activities will people encounter when they come?
Oh yeah, actually, other than the Dragon Boat race, there are lots of other activities. We will have cultural performances throughout the day, which include ethnic dancing, music of traditional instruments from Asia, food. We will have some arts booth, children's activities throughout the day. So there are other activities as well, especially sometimes due to weather. If we had rain right before, we may not be able to do the Dragon Boat race, but we'll make sure the other cultural activities go on anyway.
That's great. Rain or shine.
Exactly. Rain or shine, the festival will go on.
And if somebody's interested, maybe not this year, but next year, in actually competing in the Dragon Boat race, how would you go about doing that?
Well, actually, for each year, I couldn't remember for sure, but I think we have 10 to 14 teams competing each year, just depending. For whatever organization or group who might be interested, you can always just organize a group, then register with us through our website, or we have a contact person you can contact. That's usually how the groups come together to compete, which would include some of the nonprofit organizations from the city and some corporations, some other groups as well.
That sounds fantastic. And if people want to get information about any aspect of the festival, like a schedule or an update on the weather, where would they go to find that?
I think the best place is probably our organization's website. So if you would just Google Kansas City Dragon Boat Festival, it will bring you directly to our website, which is the website of Society for Friendship with China. But the Parks and Recreation Department does a fantastic job getting the latest information on their website as well, so that's a good place to find too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about the festival, and we're looking forward to wonderful weather like today for June 9th.
Thank you for the opportunity.
The Neighborhood Tourist Development Fund supports local nonprofits that bring cultural, social, educational, and recreational activities to our area. about additional upcoming events, visit kcmo.gov/ntdf.
Behind these doors at Swordfish Tom's and the Crossroads, Jill Coxon is making more than drinks.
Yeah, we get a lot of people to ask that question, whether or not we use filtered water or we boil the water. And my response is always that we're lucky to live in a market where we don't have to, that we have a really great water source.
That water source is the Missouri River, and it's what helps her create these perfectly shaped and uniquely frozen ice cubes. The only ingredient is Kansas City tap water. The process begins by filling these tubs with tap water. After about 3 days, they freeze into 300-pound blocks, and then they're ready to cut down to size. There's a market for this ice. Tom's Town Distilling Company is one of our customers. They use the ice in their drinks and Kansas City tap water in their distilling process.
Massive amounts of it. We use it cooking process, we use it in the cooling process, turning the vapor back into a liquid.
Brian Harper is the distiller at Tom's Town. He says Kansas City's water improves the taste of their whiskey.
It's actually rich in limestone, which a lot of distilleries, that's why Tennessee has a lot. They come out of the springs there and are really rich in limestone and adds to your flavor in your whiskey.
KC Water is committed to providing safe, reliable, great-tasting water to our customers. That water starts at the Missouri River, goes through the treatment process, and is then delivered to homes, schools, and businesses through more than 2,800 miles of underground water pipes.
It's a bummer to see people use bottled water here. This is one of those markets that I think could easily ban bottled water because we have a great water source, and bottled water is really, the bottles are just so wasteful, and I realize in some markets they're necessary, but this isn't one of them.
For KC Water, I'm Brooke Givens.
When residents are surveyed about city programs and services, public safety leads the pack. With the Northland's continued growth, city leaders have recognized the need for a new fire station. Northland council members led the groundbreaking ceremony for KCFD Station 15, which is located at 291 Highway and Cookingham Drive.
You know, it goes without saying that the reason why we need this facility is that this area continues to grow. 20 years ago, you probably would not have seen 20,000 houses here. They are here today, and they continue to come. This area of the city has the highest number of single housing permits, the highest number of multifamily permits in the city. So guess what? This building was not only needed yesterday, it was needed 10 years ago, and if it doesn't get built today, I don't know what we're going to tell people who move into this area. So the timing is right, and the timing is now.
This is a really big gift, not just in the amount of acreage we're getting, but in the value of the land and in the future value, but most importantly to the people of this community who are going to benefit so strongly from it, and for the firefighters who are now not going to have to work as hard to get where they need to get, because even though the response times have been high, it's not for lack of a professional fire department. These people are qualified, they are extraordinary, they are tireless advocates to keep the people safe, but they just can't get everywhere in such a large city with the amount of geography that we have. And this is going to give them that opportunity to do that.
The mayor and the Martin Luther King Jr. Advisory Group announced their recommendation to name the new terminal at KCI after the civil rights icon.
But I will say this up front now before everybody starts getting apoplectic. Substitute the word terminal for airport. We're not talking about naming the airport. The airport is every building, every runway, every bit of infrastructure, the entire property that we know of as the airport. The terminal is a single building on the airport from which people fly into and out of. And it doesn't seem to make that much difference in my mind as to whether or not you're naming it Martin Luther King Terminal at MCI or you're naming it MCI or Martin Luther King International, because at the end of the day, the idea is to put his name on something big and bold and honor him in that way. I can't think of anything any bigger than the terminal that we're building at MCI. It's the biggest project we've ever had in the city. So whether or not we name all the runways and the streets that lead into it and the underground infrastructure along with it seems to be relatively immaterial to me, but that's just me.
The mayor said the city needs to check whether the proposal would need approval from Dr. King's family, and several other factors would still need to be worked out before the city council makes a final decision. Kansas City's summer curfew is now in effect. For minors 15 and younger, the curfew is set at 10 p.m. For ages 16 and 17, the curfew is 11 p.m. in most parts of the city. But anyone under age 18 must be with a parent or guardian after 9 p.m. in the city's 5 entertainment districts. The curfew will be enforced through September. And for more information about the curfew, visit our website at kcmo.gov/curfew. Are your kids looking for something to do this summer? The annual Mayor's Nights programs offer safe evening activities for kids at parks and community centers and other facilities. Sports programs and Club KC activities are available. For more information and to register, visit kcmo.gov. The city is growing, and there's a new focus on the importance of housing availability for residents at all income levels. The Neighborhoods and Housing Services Department needs your input on how the city can develop a housing policy to better serve all residents. You are invited to join public hearings on Monday, June 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Westport Roanoke Community Center, 3601 Roanoke Road. And a final meeting takes place on Monday, June 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at 2nd Presbyterian Church, 318 East 55th Street. Be sure to stay up to date with all the latest happenings in Kansas City by watching Channel 2 anytime on our YouTube channel. Get the link at kcmo.gov/Channel 2. That page also has information on where you can find Channel 2 on your cable service. I'm Chris Hernandez. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.